Welcome along to another opposition preview, the show that gives you a lowdown on Saints' next opponents. It's Christmas, and of course that means back-to-back football. Saints travel up to Wembley for the 12:30 kickoff on Boxing Day. A lot of sore heads in the cars and on the coaches that day. No public transport, of course, but here to give us a lowdown on Tottenham is Sim from the Spurs channel We Are Tottenham TV. Sim, Ben's your brother. Sim, how are you, mate? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, awesome. Cheers for having me on.
So, I mean, so many reports beginning of the season about this so-called Wembley curse carried from last
the
season.
hoodoo.
I mean, have those myths been squashed this season? What's it like being at Wembley this season? And you've only lost there once in the league this season.
Yeah, I think our form's been pretty good. I think we've had a few poor results against like the likes of Burnley, Swansea, and West Brom. We had 3 poor draws there, but you get that in a season, you get these poor results. I think everyone's comparing our form this season at Wembley to last season at White Hart Lane when our form was just impeccable. And we've kind of never had a better home record than we did last season at White Hart Lane. We won 17 of 19 games. So it's hard to replicate that at Wembley. Any sort of dip is going to be seen as us kind of failing at Wembley. But I don't see it that way. I think our form at Wembley's actually been pretty decent. And it's definitely not the big hoodoo everyone's calling it. It's definitely, we've had some very good results. We tend to up our game really when we have a big team come to Wembley, Madrid or Liverpool or Dortmund. They've been our best performances, but I would say the performances have been pretty bad in the most part. That's the truth. Apart from the big games, the likes of, even when we've won against the likes of Bournemouth, the likes of Palace, performances have been pretty slow and lethargic, and we've kind of struggled to really put the opposition to the sword like we did last season. We only really saw that against Stoke. That's the only time this season we've beaten a smaller team convincingly at Wembley. So, but the thing is, I don't think it's Wembley is the factor, because if you look at even a couple seasons ago when we were challenging Leicester for the title, our home record now is better than it was then. So I don't think being at Wembley has hindered us at all. Any sort of failings that we've had is purely down to the team, 100%.
And there's been goals shared all across the pitch, really. Son's had quite a few goals this season. Ali had quite a few at the beginning of the season, but we'll get onto him in a minute. And, of course, Harry Kane. We all know the threat about him. 12 goals so far this season. Bound to score again. Will he be fit for Boxing Day?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be fit, barring any injury in training or whatever. But he's obviously going to be our biggest threat, Harry Kane. He's an absolute machine when it comes to scoring. But saying that, he's actually, this season, I know he's got 12 goals, but a lot of them have been in he's got braces in quite a lot of them. He's actually only scored in about 7 games this season out of the, 18 games we played, 19 games. So maybe he could start scoring in more games, because he draws quite a few blanks, but obviously he's an absolute machine goal scoring. He has quite a decent record against Southampton, I think. He scored a couple of goals there last season.
Yeah, he's bound to score against us. But another player in particular who's been in the headlines this week that I've picked up on, Mauricio Pochettino's vow to rediscover Dele Alli's form. I mean, what's happened to him over the past few months? Is it a good chance for him to impress on Tuesday?
Dele Alli, his form, in truth, it's been pretty woeful. He hasn't played that well. But saying that, last season he also actually started the season quite similarly, and in December he went on this real upturn in form where I think in the December month he scored something like 6 in 3 games, and then all of a sudden it will change and he ended up with 18 Premier League goals. So in terms of how many goals he scored at this point this season compared to this point last season, it's actually not too dissimilar. But his performances are pretty. He just looks like a lot of the time he doesn't care. He gets the ball and he's losing the ball in like really bad positions in his own in our own half. And there's kind of like a lack of accountability for him. He sometimes doesn't track back, and it's quite frustrating to watch. But Ali's in the team to give you those game-changing moments where he can just, at any moment he can come up with, a goal from anywhere, come at the right place, right time. And at the moment, these things just aren't happening for him. And then once these things aren't happening, all his mistakes get highlighted, and that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, and a lot of those mistakes have been highlighted by the press, by his temperament and his petulance, stamping on people and getting away with it. But obviously a lot of games this week. Pochettino, do you think he's tempted to make some rotation? Maybe some of the fringe players to play against Saints? Talk us briefly through your expected team.
I'd probably say I'd expect someone like Lamela to come in. I think he's actually been quite decent in his cameo performances, and he started against Brighton since he's come back from injury. He's actually looked quite sharp, so I expect him to come in and start. Then I expect probably someone like Moussa Sissoko to come in, who at the beginning of the season had an uptake in form. He was actually playing quite well, but recently he's kind of come back to the Sissoko of old of last season, where it's just, yeah, you don't want him in the team. You really don't. He's like trying to get him to control the ball is like hitting the ball against the wall. It's just, it's absolutely awful. So I bet you hope he starts. But
sounds good to me.
Yeah. But other than that, we don't have too many options to rotate. We like to rotate our fullbacks. So probably Aurier will probably start, and I would say Davis will start because I think Rose will probably start against Burnley. So we like to rotate our fullbacks. But other than that, our centre-backs are going to stay the same. Harry Winks and Moussa Dembele will probably both start. So it's only really those forward options with Lamela and Sissoko who can really rotate.
Okay, brilliant. So can you wrap us up with your score prediction? What are you going for?
Southampton, they're a tricky side. And I tell you what, the teams this season who we've played have really hurt us on the counter-attack when we've been pressing forward. Because we tend to dominate against teams like Southampton, but when you've got players like Redmond and Buffal, they've got on the break they can be dangerous. So I'd be quite worried about that. So I'll go for a 2-1 Spurs. They've got to go for a Spurs win, but honestly I'm going to be wary of Southampton. They've got some good players there. Excellent
stuff. But if you guys at home have enjoyed, see them over here on our channel. Maybe remember to go ahead and check out We Are Tottenham TV. I'm sure there'll be a link somewhere on screen and down below. And I'm sure there'll be a match reaction after the result. Sim, thanks for joining us, mate.
Cheers, thanks for having me on. Absolute pleasure.
And remember to go ahead and leave us your predictions in below. Leave us your likes, your comments, and subscribe for more.